Good morning, Year 4. Welcome to your final English lesson for this week. We are so excited to have you back on Monday, and I hope you are excited to come back to school too. I hope you had a fantastic workbook day yesterday and had lots and lots of fun with your different activities. In today's lesson, we're going to follow on from what we did on Wednesday's lesson. So on Wednesday, we were looking all about paragraphs, and we were looking about how we could use them in non-fiction writing. Today's lesson, we're going to still be using paragraphs, but we're going to really be successful in using them in fiction writing. And remember, what is fiction writing? Is it based on facts? No, it's not, is it? So fiction writing can be anything that's made up, isn't it? So it's not based on facts. So to be successful in today's lesson, you will be able to organise paragraphs around a theme. You will be able to identify the main ideas that are drawn from more than one paragraph and summarise these. And you're going to be also making decisions about the paragraph breaks in fiction writing. So it's a bit different today, and you're going to understand why that is. But first of all, you do have some retrieval, and as always, we are really trying to focus on knowing the possessive apostrophe and really understanding when to use it and how to use it correctly. One of these sentences is correct. Two of them are incorrect, just as we've done for the remainder of, well, all of this week so far. Our retrieval has been all about possessive apostrophes. So have a think, which of these is correct, which one is correct, which two are incorrect. Pause the video, have a think. Okay, how did you do? Let's have a look at the first one then. So, it's all about the monkey's convincing argument. So, in this sentence here, who has possession? That's right, the monkey has possession because the possessive apostrophe is used for the word monkeys. Now, what does the monkey have possession over? That's right, the convincing arguments. The monkey has these convincing arguments that obviously they are giving to other people, potentially giving to the axeman to stop him from cutting down the tree. Now, the way the possessive apostrophe is used here is it suggesting that there is one monkey or more than one monkey. That's right, they're suggesting that there is just one monkey. So we call this a singular or plural possessive apostrophe. That's right, a singular possessive apostrophe. If it's apostrophe S, we know it's going to be singular. Now, is there more than one monkey here? No, there's not, is there? There's just the one monkey. So actually, this could be our correct sentence, but we need to check the other two are incorrect. So let's look at the statement number 2. The monkey's convincing arguments, but what noun has the possession here? The arguments have possession. So the arguments, what do the arguments have possession over? Nothing. So which one's is it even need a possessive apostrophe? No, it doesn't. Does it? It's incorrect, that one, because the arguments do not have possession over anything. We already know that the noun that has possession is the monkeys. So that brings us on to statement number 3, where the monkeys have possession over the convincing arguments again, but this time the possessive apostrophe is after the S. What does this suggest? That there are more than one monkey or just one? That's right, it suggests that there is more than one monkey. It's that plural possessive apostrophe, isn't it? But is there more than one monkey here? No, there's not, is it? It doesn't say there are the 2 monkeys convincing arguments, the many monkeys convincing arguments. So actually, statement number 1 was the correct statement. So well done if you got that. Now I want you to read the following text and think, where does this writing come from? Have you seen any of these words before? And is this writing an example of fiction or non-fiction, and why? Pause the video, read the text and have a think about those 2 questions, please. Okay, so you might have noticed that we have got all about this. 2 men walking in the rainforest, the squawking birds and howling monkeys. They watched the 2 men and wondered why they've come. The larger man stopped and pointed to the great kapok tree. This writing, where does it come from? The great kapok tree, well done. So, was this writing from the great kapok tree and this writing here fiction or non-fiction? That's right, it was fiction, wasn't it? Because it was all about this made-up story which wasn't real. Now I want you to think, what do you notice about the way the current text is organised? And what effect does this have on us as a reader? Pause the video again and have a think, please. Okay, what did you notice then? Did you notice that there is not any paragraphs at the moment? So actually this text is just one long text. What effect does this have on us as a reader though? Well maybe if I'm reading it and I'm still reading, my eyes are kind of losing concentration because I can't see the break in what I'm reading here. There are no paragraphs, so it's making it really, really tricky for me to read. So we're going to have the mission today of trying to change this and really thinking about, well, how do I split this into paragraphs? So here I've got the same text and I need your help to decide where my paragraphs need to go. But it's slightly different when we're deciding this with a fiction piece of text, because we looked at non-fiction reports on Wednesday and that was pretty easy because we organised the statements into subheadings and that was pretty easy. But in fiction, a new paragraph starts where we think it will help the reader, when the focus changes. So if there's a new thought, a new action or a new scene, or even a new topic even, we need a new paragraph. But when we're deciding these paragraphs, it's a bit different because some of them are one-line paragraphs and some of them are maybe 5 or 6-line paragraphs. But it really depends on where the focus changes. And that's what I need your help on today. So what we're going to do, we're going to read the text together and I'm going to be speaking about my thought processes out loud. And when you think a new paragraph is needed, we are going to use this double line. So we've got the 2 lines that are slanted. We've used that before, and that is to mark that a new paragraph is needed. Now, just because my text isn't very spaced out, I'm going to use a red double line to make sure that I'm identifying my paragraphs, just so you can clearly see where they are. So I'm going to start to read it, and I can see that my first focus is all about 2 men. They have walked into the rainforest, and that might be my first focus. Moments before, the forest had been alive with the sounds of squawking birds and howling monkeys. Now all was quiet as the creatures watched the 2 men. I've got this idea of these 2 men again and wondered why they had come. So that bit is all about the 2 men. Let's read on and see if we're still talking about 2 men or whether the focus changes. And when I read, I want you to think about that too. The larger man stopped and pointed to a great kapok tree. We've got this idea of a larger man, so it's still talking about the men. Then he left. Okay. Now, before we were talking about the 2 men, but now we are just talking about 1 man. So that is where my focus changes slightly. So I'm not going to put the larger man or about then he left into the same paragraph. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put a paragraph break just between the words why they had come and the larger man, because that tells me that these first 3 lines and 1 word are based all about the 2 men and they are walking into the rainforest. But then the larger man stopped and he pointed to a great kapok tree and then he left. What's that about then? Yeah, that's right. That's all about just the larger man, the first of the 2 men. And then if I read on, I can see the smaller man. But is that the same person? The smaller man and the larger man, are they same person? No, they're not, are they? So the focus also changes here too. So now you can see that actually we've only got a sentence as our second paragraph there. And that's okay, because the focus has changed. The first focus, what was this focus? That's right, the 2 men. The second focus was what? The larger man. And now we've got the smaller man. And this now is going to be all about what the smaller man is doing. Because all the large man did was pointed and then he left. So he's gone now, but now we're thinking about the smaller man. So let's read on. And if the focus changes, I want you to just have a think about how it changes and what it changes to. The smaller man took the axe he carried and struck the trunk of the tree. Whack, whack, whack. So it's all about him hitting the tree, still about the small man. And he said whack, whack, whack. The sounds of the blows rang through the forest. The wood of the tree was very hard. Chop, chop, chop. The man wiped off the sweat that ran down his face and neck. Whack, chop, whack, chop. What is that about? What I just read then? What is happening there? We've got these types of words here. Do you remember what types of words they are? Well done, that's the example of onomatopoeia, when you're using sounds to represent what's happening. They're whacking, they're chopping, they're whacking and chopping the trees down. Who is whacking and chopping the trees down? Is it both of them? No, it's not. It's just the small man, isn't it? So this is all about him whacking the tree. So far, has the topic changed in this section? No, it hasn't, has it? Because we know it's all about the small man. He took the axe and struck the trunk of the tree. That has set the paragraph up for us, and the rest of it is going to be about hitting the tree. Now we're going to keep reading. Soon the man grew tired. So he grew tired. Is that the same as him hitting the tree? Maybe not. Potentially we need a new paragraph here. He sat down to rest at the foot of the great kapok tree. Before he knew it, the heat and hum of the forest had lulled him to sleep. So we actually need a paragraph break here, because the second part is all about him resting and going to sleep. So this paragraph we know is about the two men. Then we've got the break and it's about the larger man. Then we've got this large paragraph here about the smaller man hitting the tree, and now the man has gone to sleep. Now if we look, a boa constrictor. Now what type of thing is this? Is it a person? No, it's an animal, isn't it? So that's some complete topic change there. So what do we need to add? That's right, we need to add our double line there, because now the man is tired, but now we're thinking about the animals. He slithered down its trunk. So we're thinking about he slithered down. He's still going down the trunk because it's a snake, isn't it? To where the man was sleeping. He looked at the gash the axe has made in the tree. So that's a little bit of what the axe had done to the tree. Then the huge snake slid very close to the man and hissed in his ear. So it's about the huge snake again. Senor, this tree is a tree of miracles. It's my home, where generations of my ancestors have lived. Do not chop it down. So this is all talking about what animal now, this paragraph? That's right, it's talking about the snake. Do you think there's a change in the topic throughout this paragraph? No, there's not, is there? Because why? That's right, because they're talking about the boa constrictor. He slithered, the huge snake. This is all about the snake and what he is saying to the man to try and convince him to not chop down the trees. Now I'm going to continue in part 2 of today's video. How now I'm going to consider that I've got my paragraphs, what each of them show. So see you in part 2.